Hello, dear students. Last time in our last lecture, I introduced Robert Browning's poem My Last Duchess. We read about the life and works of Robert Browning, and then we also came to know about the poem that we are going to do today. So I gave you a brief story or the gist of this poem last time. Now we shall go with this poem with line to line. That is, we have to explain every line of this poem so that you can better understand the poem and write your answers effectively and precisely in your examinations. So let's go with the poem. The first text, that is of 5 lines only. These are the beginning lines of this poem. I recite these lines. That's my last duchess, painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder. Now Fra Pandolf's hands worked busily a day, and there she stands. Will please you sit and look at her. So these are the beginning lines of this poem. As you know very well, that Robert Browning is known as the father of the dramatic monologue, and this piece of writing is one of the finest piece of dramatic monologue. I also explained to you in our last video what is a dramatic monologue. So in a dramatic monologue, we see that the speaker speaks or the character speaks either to himself or to a silent listener. There is no response, there is no interruption from other side. The other side is only a silent listener. That is, he won't ask any questions, he won't disturb in this speech. And it is dramatic because it can also be acted on the stage. It can also be dramatized. Therefore, it is called a dramatic monologue. Monologue is equal to soliloquies that you have read in your previous classes. Now let's go with the lines. As these lines are from this poem, this is dramatic monologue. What is the context in this poem? What is the context of these lines? Is that there is a meeting between the Duke and the Count's envoy in a drawing room of the Duke. So, an envoy from the nearby Count has come there to meet the Duke, and he has come with a proposal of marriage of the daughter of the Count. We know that the Duke is a widower and he is negotiating marriage with the daughter of the Count. He is widower because Duchess was dead. That's why he calls my last Duchess. That is, she has gone and now she is with the new proposal. So the new proposal has come from the Count's daughter, and the messenger has come there, and they are sitting in the drawing room of the Duke and they are talking about it. The Count's envoy visits with the Duke with a fresh proposal of marriage. Then what happens? That the Duke takes the envoy to his art gallery, where there is a portrait of the Duke's previous wife, that is Duchess. So the Duke shows the portrait of Duchess to the envoy. And he takes him into the art gallery of his house. Then, how he shows, the Duke removes the curtain of the portrait of the Duchess, and pointing towards the painting, there was a painting of Duchess or the drawing of the Duchess that was hanging on the wall. So, pointing towards the painting of Duchess, the Duke tells the envoy that the picture looks as if the Duchess is still alive. So, the Duke himself, pointing the portrait of the Duchess, tells the envoy that this picture looks as if the Duchess is still alive. So, the picture is lifelike. The Duke regards this as a wonderful painting and thinks that it has been beautifully done by Fra Pandolf. So, this is the description of the portrait of his last Duchess that Duke himself is giving to the envoy. He says that Fra Pandolf worked for a full day in order to prepare this portrait. Here he says, let's see the lines. He says that piece of wonder. So this is a wonderful piece of portrait. Fra Pandolf's hands worked busily day. That is, it was prepared. It was meant by the painter whose name was Fra Pandolf. And there she stands. So that is there. Here the poet, or the through the mouthpiece of the Duke, he says that the name of the Fra Pandolf is given intentionally, deliberately. He uses the name of Fra Pandolf deliberately here. Why? Because this painter has worked throughout a day, and then the picture was ready and it was hung on the wall. He mentioned the name of Fra Pandolf because he could not trust anybody else to paint the picture except a monk. And Fra Pandolf was a monk painter. So he believed only in the monks. Otherwise, he did not believe in any other persons who could make this portrait of his last Duchess or wife. And this artist was also given only a single day to complete the portrait, not 2 days, 3 days, or month or a week, because the Duke himself was a man of very suspiciousness. He was a man of suspicion. He did not believe on any person that would not cheat him, or that would not make, or that would not affect his last Duchess. He believed that the monks are said to be pure. They are the people who can be believed, or they are credible. Therefore, he gave this job only to the monk. And then he tells the envoy, dear students, to sit down. Sit down and look at the wall, look at the portrait. See what a beautiful, wonderful portrait is this. And this is made by Fra Pandolf, the painter, the monk painter. So this request that he does to the envoy does not seem like a request, but it seems as an order. Okay? Now come to the next lines. Next lines are, I said, Fra Pandolf by design, for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance. So the Duke says that I said frappendol by design. Design means intently. He is mentioning the name of the painter to be frappendol by deliberate design, deliberate regions. For never read strangers like you that pictured countenance. So, this is in fact to remove all implications of an affair between the painter and the duchess. Because the frappendol is a monk and monks are to be believed and they are credible. So, Duke wanted to remove all kind of the doubts and implications of taking place of an affair between the painter and the last duchess. So, then he says to the envoy, for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance. So he says to the envoy that it's not only you who have read the pictured countenance, such a glance, such a smile, such a depth and passion of the earnest glance on the cheeks or on the face of the last duchess. So he says that in his experience he had known visitors in whom the picture produced a suggestion of such an affair. Because anybody who would look at the picture will be suspicious and he will ask the question that such a glance could not be there. He will doubt and he will doubt the affair between the painter and the duchess. So he means to say that often people ask this question, why such a glance came on the face of the duchess? How such a countenance or the expression of passions on the duchess' face came? And they were suspicious of an affair between her and the painter. So here Duke means to say that he is only the one who draws the curtain of this portrait. Let's go with the lines again. By design for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance. It's not only you are only one of those strangers who looked at the glance, countenance, the expressions of the depth and passions of the earnest glance on the face of the duchess. But to myself they turned. So he says, since none puts by the curtain, I have drawn for you. So the Duke says that I am only the here who removes the curtain to show this portrait to any visitors or any strangers who comes there. So every strangers like you would turn towards me and would ask the same question as you are asking. And seemed as they would ask me, if they durst means if they dare. If they dare to ask me this question, so they speak that how such a glance came there, how such a glance came into the cheeks or in the on the face of the last duchess king. So these are the lines. Now let's go the next lines of this poem. Next lines. So, not the first are you to turn and ask thus, Sir, it was not her husband's presence only called that spot of joy into the duchess' cheek. Perhaps Fra Pandolf chanced to say, her mental lapse over my lady's wrist too much, or paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush that dies long her throat. Such stuff was courtesy, she thought, and cause enough for calling up that spot of joy. So we see that the envoy asked the same question as it was asked by the other strangers who came there to the duke and looking at the photo or the portrait of the duchess. And the question was, what was the question? The question was, कि there was the smiling face of the duchess. So everyone would come there if he would ask the same question, कि how did such a blissness, such a glance came into the cheeks of the last duchess? कि what was the reason that such a smile came on her face? This was the question. And this question is answered by the duke, because the duke himself draws the curtain and shows the portrait to the visitors. So, in these lines, what's happening? In these lines, that is line 13 to 21, the duke is answering this question and he describes how such a glance came. So he says, not the first are you to turn and ask thus, sir. It's not only you who is asking me the same question. Sir. Look at the word. The duke speaks, sir, to the envoy. It's a kind of request. It's a kind of polite, sir. But it's not a polite language actually. There is irony in this word. Sir, it was not her husband's presence only. So the duke speaks that, sir, this smile, this glance was not there because of her husband's presence. It was not there because her husband was present there, was standing there. Therefore she smiled. Therefore she gave such a glimpse. Called that spot of joy into the duchess' cheek. So it was not because of the presence of her husband that brought such a spot of joy into her cheeks. Then what is the other reason? Perhaps Fra Pendol chanced to say. The duke says that Fra Pendol, the painter, the artist, perhaps the artist might have said, might have commented to the duchess. And what the comment might have been done? He might have said, her mental lapse over my lady's wrist too much. He might have said that her mental lapse, her cloak of the sari is over my lady's wrist too much, over the wrist of the duchess is too much. Such kind of the comment may be done by the Fra Pendol, by the painter. Let me tell you this comment in Hindi so that you will better understand. कि पेंटर ने शायद डचेस को देख के ये कहा कि मैडम आपका पल्लू आपकी कलाई पे कुछ ज़्यादा है. इतना सा कमेंट उसने कहा और उस कमेंट से he means to say that such a spot of joy came into her cheeks. So this is the reason, and this reason is told by the duke himself. The duke is explaining the reason of her smile, her happy glance, her spot of joy on her cheeks. So it was not only because of her husband's presence, but it may be because of the painter's comment that he made for her lady. Or what else? What else the reason? Or paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush that dies along her throat. Or the painter might have also commented this, that his painting would not be able to draw this picture. The picture is, he says, paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush. The half flush that is faint, that is dim half flush, which is running into the throat of the lady, throat of the Duchess, cannot be drawn or painted on the canvas. That is what the painter might have said or commented. And this lady then laughed, then smiled at. So then Duke says, such stuff was courtesy. So such thing was a courtesy, was a manner, was a thing of courtesy, nothing more. But it was enough for the lady, for the last Duchess. It was enough, the cause, for calling up the spot of joy into the cheeks of last Duchess. So it means, the Duke means to say that his wife Duchess was influenced by a short, trivial thing, a small thing. Even the little comment would please her, and she would give the smile upon that comment. So, this is what I think the explanation of these lines. I have also given in this PPT. She treated all favors alike with a smile ready for everyone. Here, the Duke means to say also that his Duchess would treat everyone with the same favor. Therefore, it was not the favor of her husband that such a smile or such a spot of joy came into her cheeks. And this was very unique. He also explains that many people think that the blush appeared on her cheeks because of her. That I have already explained to you. That is another reason, that was by the compliment made by the artist, that the happy spot on her face came. Then artist might have complimented her on her dress. As I told you, that her loose cloak covered her wrist too much, covering her wrist too much. So this is what the explanation of these lines we have. And so far the critical note of these lines of this poem is that you have to write that it's a masterpiece of dramatic monologue, and that here the Duke is speaking to the envoy about describing about his last wife, Duchess, and trying to negotiate for the new proposal of the marriage. That is, the Duke wants to remarry. Although he loved his last Duchess, but he could not tolerate the equal behavior done by his last Duchess. He could not tolerate her smiles that she used to give everyone. She used to please by everyone. And Fra Pandolf, as I have explained to you, an imaginary artist, and he is a monk, and monks are believed that they are truthful, that they will not cheat, or they will not make any kind of wrong affairs, etc. Sir, the word that the Duke shows the respect to the envoy, this is what we have in these lines. In our next lecture, dear students, we will have the another lines from this poem with their explanations. So, till then, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Enjoy the lecture and video.